Hey, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully this thing's recording. It's got the new media mod for the camera because the old one was worn out and the microphone jack didn't work, or the receptacle part. And so I was losing a lot of audio, and I had a bad mic and all sorts of stuff going on. But this is a general update. Actually going to work on the Benz today, but the big deal is I completed all my finals for school. So the last 9 weeks or so, 10 weeks has been kind of busy. That's why I haven't been doing much. Turned it all in, haven't got one of the finals graded yet, so we'll see how that looks, but I think it'll be good enough for a passing grade, right? And I'm finally in the shop catching up. So got the Audi's in here, but it is not broke, and it does not need anything at the moment. It was broke. It had another camshaft, the advanced actuator solenoid error. It's something that was originally fixed at the dealer. It's something I didn't want to tackle but should have, because I thought it was a bad connection somewhere in the wiring, either a bad wire or up in the computer, which it turned out I took it in and they obviously sold me a new actuator solenoid for, X amount of $100 plus labor. It didn't fix the problem. I drove it back there. They said, oh, it's a bad wire. So they fixed the bad wire. They bypassed the good wire. It didn't fix it. I had to drive it back again. They did something, it fixed it, and that was about over a year ago, and now the problem came back. My assumption is they weren't going to warranty it after a year or so. So I tore into it. It turns out it was actually a stretched out socket on the computer connector at the ECU. And to make it work, they shoved a piece of trash into the back shell to kind of hold the wire cockeyed in there to make a connection, and the trash kind of worked itself loose, or debris, or whatever you want to call it. So I ended up just putting a little bit of tension on the male pin just to kind of grab that worn out socket, and that fixed the problem. It took me about probably an hour and a half, 2 hours to figure it out with the meter and things, but it's all fixed now. But as always, they're temperamental. The work was originally done at Audi of Escondido. So if you have an Audi and you take it to Escondido, good luck. Anyway, the truck could use a little work. I'm getting ready for a trip. I'm going to be taking a trip to the Panamints. Going to cross over the mountains into Death Valley and come out heading back towards Baker. Now this is going to be over the holidays, which is in a few weeks. I got a bad O-ring on one of the airbags. Actually, it's not an O-ring, but an O-ring fixes it. It's there's a place where the bolt goes into the airbag, and it's sealed on the inside of the airbag, but that rubber seal gets broken, so the air seeps out overnight and the truck just kind of leans. I fixed the other side by removing the bolt and putting an O-ring, so I'm going to want to do that before the trip on the driver's side, and that's kind of pretty much all it needs, and restock the pantry before I go. It's probably going to be like a 3-night endeavor with at least Bedrick. I don't know if Zenek's coming yet. Haven't decided if I'm going to conquer both the boys on that long of a trip, which requires obviously more water because I got to bucket wash both of the boys. And it's chilly up there, so I don't know how that'll go. We will be on some cliffs, and the little guy don't like cliffs, so I'm still debating who's all going, right? But anyway, off to the Benz. Have not touched the carburetor, although the dipping basket has made it out of the dip and onto the bench. Here's some of the clean parts. that are ready for assembly. Still got to do a little final scrubby here and things, but those are kind of ready to go together. All the jets, I got to re-clean. I was doing things. I was also looking at the brake master cylinder housing and the brake booster, which I think is okay. It's gonna go back into the car. That thing is like $1,200-$1,300 to replace. So that's not happening at all. I'm not gonna mess with it. I think it works. I'm gonna put it in. If it works, we'll leave it. If it doesn't, then I'll reassess the whole thing and, one step at a time. But I got to put away all this, my probes and my probe set. Too many things going on. But the main push right now with the Benz is I need to pull the rest of the brake hoses and brake lines. I am about to do an order from Germany, which is going to be for the rest of the brake parts, which will include new brake shoes, the front wheel cylinders. I already have the rear ones on there, and all the hoses. The hoses are gummed up and plugged, and they need to be replaced. They're the original 1961 hoses, I'm assuming. But I got to get them out to see what actual fittings are on there, because there's so many different versions of this thing, and I don't want to get the wrong one. It's coming all the way from Germany. So I want to clarify that's what is on the car. The place in Germany that I found by accident, I ordered the wrong part for my car. Wouldn't have fit, but they do have a lot of the stuff I need. And even with paying for DHL from Germany, it actually comes out cheaper than buying it on eBay from the US, because people are price gouging for no apparent reason. So screw that. Keep your US parts. Mine are coming from Germany for cheaper, and I'll keep DHL in business at the same time and save money. So, hey, drop your price, I'll buy your stuff. But anyway, that's where we're at. Also, some of the other stuff that I looked at was I took the valve cover off, and the motor looks really good. I kind of stuck the valve cover back on, but I don't know if I can one-hand it. I don't want to mess with it now, but I took it off. It looks like that's not the original timing chain. Somebody did replace the timing chain. The valves are tight. They didn't go back in after they replaced everything. It's probably got a new head gasket, I'm assuming. But looking at it, the valves are too tight. The clearances are almost gone. That's why it's popping out the exhaust when I rev it up. The exhaust valves are not closing all the way. So I'm gonna just adjust those, or a manual adjustment with a wrench. Get that second carburetor pulled off right there, and kind of get that going. I might pull the intake, but we'll see on that. If I can, because the problem with the intake, it has these heater flaps that allow the bottom of the intake to heat up, and the actual flap is down inside of the exhaust manifold portion of it. So there's two parts. This is the intake, and that's the exhaust. And they got these counterweighted pieces that turn, and they're stuck. And they're stuck in an unknown position. One's one way and the other one's the other way. So I don't mind it being stuck in the running position, because all it does is just takes longer for it to warm up. It'll be pretty cold-blooded. But if they're stuck in the cold start position, then they may restrict the exhaust coming out. I'm not sure how that works. I don't quite want to force them to break them, but if I can't break them loose, I may have to actually take the manifolds off. And that's creates more work, a lot more work, because they don't just go back on. You got to resurface all that, clean it up, new gaskets in between. A lot of times you can't get those. I do buy material and have to make my own, like the steel mesh gaskets for exhaust manifolds. I have made those before. They're not hard, it's just more work. And anyway, so that's where we're at. I'm gonna try to get the carburetors built. I got like the next 3 weeks off from work. I'm gonna try to get out here and kind of wrench on it, get the 2 carburetors rebuilt during that time. I don't think I'll fire it up. We'll see. I need a water pump because I can't run it too long with that leaky water pump. But it's work. But now I'm gonna get some traction for the next 3 weeks. Get some of this work done. But anyway, that's where we're at. Status. We're back in business after 9 weeks of school. And this will give me 4 weeks off over the holidays. And then it's back into the winter quarter. And this endeavor is going to last an entire year. We'll see how I get through that. But anyway, now you know. And after this, I'll probably film some of this work. And then I'm definitely filming the trip up to the Panamints, the camping trip with the boys. So I'm looking forward to that, looking forward to getting out. But it's exciting. Anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time.